KPAX Community Spotlight is sponsored by Corwin Motors of Kalispell.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Community Spotlight. Today we're shining a light on Climate Smart Missoula. So I've got Shanti Devins here, who is the program director, and Abby Huseth, who is the deputy director. Just want to make sure I got your titles right there. Yeah. Thank you, ladies, both for joining us this morning. We're glad to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
We're headed into a hot summer season, so I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say, because your kind of goal, right, is to help out a lot of our community. Yeah. But give me some specifics on what Climate Smart does here in Missoula.
Yeah, you bet. So we're a local nonprofit. We've been around for 10 years in Missoula, and we help our community deal with both the effects of climate change, so like you said, heat and increasingly wildfire smoke. And then we also deal with the causes of climate change and helping our community reduce our emissions and transition to clean energy. And then a lot of our programs also help people find ways to engage and be part of these solutions. Yeah. So I'll pass it to Shanti here in a second, but one of our programs that we've done some work on this spring is Trees for Missoula. And that program helps neighborhoods and folks in our community understand how and to take care of and plant new trees. Especially important, a lot of us remember the storm last year that took out a lot of our urban forest, but healthy urban trees are just so important as we have warmer conditions particularly. So that's one of our programs. Shanti, would you like to?
Yeah, tell us about a few more of your programs too. A lot of kind of what when I was researching is you guys are doing research, but also kind of informing the public on basically how to make things healthier in Missoula, right? So tell me some more about some of those programs. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, our mission is to build and accelerate climate solutions, and actually one of our most powerful climate solutions that we can all engage in Missoula is in our built environment, in our buildings. So we had an emissions inventory done in 2019 that showed almost a quarter of our community emissions are linked to methane gas use in our buildings. And for folks who don't know, that natural gas is primarily methane gas, and it's a really potent greenhouse gas, molecule for molecule. When it's released, in the first 20 years, it's going to trap up to 80 times more heat than carbon. So if we want to address climate change and stay below catastrophic warming, especially in the short term, we have to address methane while we continue to work on CO2. So what we do is we help folks electrify. And we have a joint program with the city and the county called Electrify Missoula. And we, as people's furnaces are aging out, we want to help them make a plan to replace that gas furnace with an efficient electric one, help them go solar, weatherize, transition to cleaner cooking for cleaner indoor air quality, as well as reducing emissions.
Okay, so you guys are busy. Yeah. Very busy, because there's a lot of buildings in Missoula to work on that with, right?
It's true.
Yeah. Okay, and so one thing specifically you have coming up is your solar info session, right? Yes. So this is kind of some practical information people can get on how to get solar for their home, it sounds like?
Exactly. Yeah, we know folks continue to have questions about the process, and there's been some policy changes and things that are under consideration, and we're going to host this event on Tuesday, July 1st. All are welcome. Come show up and get your questions answered about going solar. We'll have some experts there and our team to make sure your questions get answered.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. And one thing I was doing on your website was looking at the research you guys are doing, trying to figure out what trees are best here in Missoula for helping the climate. And you said you don't have the answer yet. You're still researching, right? So everybody could kind of get involved in what way with Missoula Climate? How would you suggest, like your average Joe, get involved with your organization?
There's room for everybody to plug into the climate movement, and I feel like that's one of our superpowers, is you can tell me your joy and your skills, and I'll be like, here's how you can plug in. So for viewers at home, some options that we have coming up are we need a lot of folks to volunteer to do some heat monitoring this summer. We do a lot with wildfire smoke and heat monitoring, and we don't actually have the data we need to understand where are the hot spots, where are the cool spots, how do we connect with Trees for Missoula to help with urban cooling. So we're looking at July 19th. We need a bunch of folks to drive around and collect data in their neighborhood. So it's really going to be where you're at and understanding, the heat impacts, and then the next steps of how do we build resilience in our community for that.
Okay. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Shanti mentioned that we annually work with a lot of different partners, including Missoula Public Health, to put together a Wildfire Smoke Ready Week, and that's also coming up in July. Okay. And folks can expect to see us out in the community at farmers markets, on the radio, just trying to get tons of information and resources out there, because there really is a lot that folks can do to prepare and take steps to stay healthy during wildfire smoke season. Yeah. A lot of that's just about creating indoor air that's clean in your homes, and we've got tons of resources to share with folks. So
there's a lot on your website too. I was checking
Yeah.
it out. Their website is amazing. If you folks want to head that direction,
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of information. But that solar info session, like you said, July
Yeah.
1st coming up quickly. If you would like more information on how to get involved, it sounds like you're getting temperatures when you're doing heat monitoring.
Yeah.
That is something I can do very well.
yeah, you have to drive around.
Yeah,
and I'll tell you where
I
to go.
can do that. And if
Yeah.
you want more information about how to get involved too, head to their website, which is missoulaclimate.org. We're all out of time for today, but thank you, ladies, for joining us. So glad
Thanks
you
so
could
much.
come.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks
Get
for all the
involved.
work you do.
Yeah.